Hey everyone, welcome back to the Distinct Mastering YouTube channel. My name is Freddie, and today we're going to talk about adding texture and interest into your music productions. This is one of the hidden gems that a lot of beginners miss, and if you're curious to know 5 different ways that you can do this, then this video is for you. Before we get into it, if you like the content that I put out, please hit the like button, subscribe to my channel, and the bell notification will keep you up to date on future videos. Now let's get right into adding texture into your music productions. Okay, I've got an Ableton session loaded up of a production that I made today. It's a quick little loop that I made for the crystallizer video last week, and this one kind of plays off that too, because I do use that plugin to create some texture. So if you missed that video, you might want to go back and check that out. I'll leave you a link. Now let's get into the first way of creating texture in your tracks. So the first method is easily just to grab a sample. You can use any noise samples, for example, white noise, pink noise, tape noise, vinyl crackles, even like retro VHS sounds. There's a lot of noises out there that you can scour and just put in the background of your track. For example, here's a vinyl noise, needle and crackle. And I've used this in a lot of my tracks. I have a variety of different ones that I could pick from, and it just needs to be back there. You just put it back there and you can align it, you can warp it, you can unwarp it. It doesn't have to be in time. It just sounds like a record is just spinning with your track. You can have it in sections of your track, over the whole track, whatever you want. There's no rules. Adding noise is a great way to add texture to your productions. Let me just play you this track. And here's without the vinyl. Adding that in, you don't even know it's there, but you hear it. It's like when you take it out and it's gone, you instantly know it's gone, but when it's there and it's playing, you wouldn't really be able to pick that out. So little subtle hints like that really can add character to your tracks. The next one is another easy method, and that is simply just using a VST. You can simply add texture with pads or strings or any drone type sound. Here I just added a simple string just to show you. And it's kind of an airy, paddy-like sound. It's just a tone. It's just one constant tone. You can put filters on this. You can automate the volume. You can add an LFO and create movement in the sound, however you want to do it. But the point of it is that it's back there. Listen to the track without it, and then it'll come in. So you can see that it gives it some more character, and it keeps the track moving along. It's not the perfect sound in my opinion, but I just made it for this video real quick, and it doesn't sound bad. It might be a little loud. It just might need a little more movement. You know, I have to play around with this. If you're feeling this track, let me know in the comments and maybe I'll turn it into a full production. Okay, another great way to add texture in your tracks is to chop up samples and create your own, or just use samples and create your own. So for example, I have this sample here, and I'm gonna play you the original. And it's this FM sound. If you caught my crystallizer video, I actually had it in that one too. And when you turn on the crystallizer, remember I left you a link, go back and check that video out. It gives it a lot more texture to the sound. So then what I did is I basically resampled that on the track below, so you just had that playing. So that's the crystallizer, and you can imagine what kind of wacky sounds you can get with using something like a crystallizer to create more texture and interest running in the background of your tracks. You can chop that up, take little bits, throw it in places, take whole loops, loop it across the whole track just as if it was a tape noise or a vinyl noise, and do some really cool wacky things that add character and life to your track that other producers don't have. So let me play you what I made with that. And what I did is I resampled the crystallizer, and what I ended up with was this weird loop right here, which is this piece. And it kind of sounds like a weird, you know, AM clock radio with crystals or just some weird little noise. It's cool, and it gives the track character. Let me mute that sound. It almost adds to the groove, you know? When I put that in there, it was like, wow, this track needs that. And I can't imagine the track without it at this point. So if I did decide to finish this track, that was a pinnacle moment when creating it. And I could also save that and use it for another session, which I already did. Okay, last but not least, you can take vocal samples or any other tones and use reverb to create cool atmospheric sounds. Let me show you how this is done. You can actually use reverb with the freeze button to create more texture and create more drones. You could do this with acapellas. You could do this with almost any tone. For example, right now we'll do it with this same exact tone that we got out of the resample. And if you take this reverb, I'm going to go ahead. I already have one here that I did. Let me turn this up. I have this vocal sample here. I'm going to turn off this reverb. And to be honest with you, it's from this whole piece. Just some vocal, you know, but look, you just take this little piece. And the trick is, if you use a reverb with a freeze button, I spoke about this in a prior video. Someone left me a comment and wanted me to show them my secret. So here you go. If you use the reverb with a freeze button, just like the FabFilter Pro R2 now has, if you missed my video on that, go back and check that out, because I will be trying this with that unit as well, since I recently just got that new plugin. But I've been using the Ableton reverb for this. A lot of other reverbs have a freeze button, but basically you can dial in your reverb just like that. I like that. And then when you're ready, you go ahead and resample the track and record yourself hitting this freeze button and just record the tone. Just like that. That's the freeze. So if I wanted to record that, I could set up a new track, or I could just put a track in resampling mode. And I usually have a resampling track at the bottom of my session. So I would solo this out just like I did, and I would hit record, and then hit freeze. And there I've got a recording of that tone. Now to shut it off, just unfreeze it, or turn the plugin off, or mute the channel if you want to leave it running at all times. Basically from here you could take any piece of this, loop this up if you want. If you wanted to take this piece, and you can get some characteristics out of this for sure. Let's mute this. You can hear it back there. This one's a little louder. I've turned this one down in volume. So, you know, chop off the beginning if you want, and take this piece, put this here, boom, boom, boom. And now you can then sidechain that. You can put movement effects on that, LFOs, cutoff, you know, volume modulation, whatever type of modulation you want to give that more movement and more character. Maybe try the Baby Audio pitch drift. If you missed my video on the Baby Audio free plugins, go back and check that out. I'll leave you a link. Pitch drift is a cool plugin. I've been using it. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and show you what it can do right here, because it is something that will really help this little sound. Give it a little more movement there. So I hope this video helps you out. This is a video on creating texture and atmospheres within your tracks so you stand out as a producer. My name is Freddie from Distinct Mastering, and I help people master their music. If you need help with your mastering, don't hesitate to hit me up. And if you like the content I put on YouTube to help with your music productions, please hit the like button, subscribe to my channel, and the bell notification will keep you up to date. I will see you on the next video.